Okay, we're live. We are live. Big up to you guys, man. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Just a quick one, maybe an hour, something like that. Nothing too crazy. Just talk some boxing, and we'll see where it takes us. But obviously next weekend, massive fight. Juan Francisco Estrada versus Roman Gonzalez 2, unification fight, brilliant fight in the super flyweight division. That's definitely the best fight of the year so far. Can't wait for that fight, man. Going to be a war, evenly contested. I'm leaning towards Estrada, as you guys know. My official prediction is Estrada by late stoppage. That's my official prediction, but I can't say I'm really confident in that pick. It's one of those sort of fights where it could go either way, but I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a great fight. It's taken a long time, though, for these guys to rematch, but better late than never. Better late than never. Salute to H Money in the building. Big up to H Money. D Jefferson, aka Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Big up to D. Salute to you, sir. Yeah, I'm good, H. I'm good. Just chilling, really. Pretty boring Saturday, man. Nothing really to do, so I thought I'd fire up a quick live stream. Just talk some boxing, man. Salute every single time as well to Timmy Nealon. Yeah, I can't wait either, bro. I can't wait either. Should be a good fight, man. It should be competitive. You can't really see either guy completely dominating it. I think it's going to be a fight of back and forths. For whatever reason, though, I've just got this gut feeling that Estrada's going to win it, and probably by late stoppage. I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong numerous times in the past, so it could happen again. But my gut feeling's Estrada to win this fight. I think he's got a little more in the tank than Gonzalez. Gonzalez has had a real good comeback after his 2 defeats to Rungvisai, of course. But Estrada's a different kettle of fish to Calyafai and Israel Gonzalez. He really is. He's a different kettle of fish. Yes, indeed. Salute to D, salute to H. Big up to Brandon Blanco as well. He says, can't wait for the Estrada Gonzalez and the Taylor Ramirez with people. Yeah, both great fights, man. These are the sort of fights we need in boxing. That's what keeps boxing going, man. That's what keeps boxing going, for these sort of fights. And hopefully we can see more of these fights this year. I'm talking about Jamel Charlo, Brian Castano, obviously Fury versus Joshua. That's another one. Hopefully Canelo can try and get undisputed. These are the sort of things we need to happen in boxing. None of these mismatches, tune-up fights, all this nonsense. We want these fights that mean something, and these fights, what we've mentioned, mean something. Yes, big up to Jim McDonald, man, every single time. He says, I kind of lean towards Estrada by decision, but I won't be surprised if Gonzalez wins. Yeah, it's one of those fights, man. I don't think anybody's really confident in their prediction if they're being truthful, because I'm not. I'm not confident in mine whatsoever. And I felt I kind of went out on the limb and saying Estrada by stoppage. Yeah, listen, Jay, always welcome, bro. Fire away, man. Fire away. Does Sakalovsky versus Serenko this afternoon have upset potential? Who knows, intangible, because, listen, Serenko's a good prospect. He's relatively talented, but in his last fight, it might have been the fight before, Serenko got badly buzzed by, I forget the dude's name, but it was like in August last year against a nondescript opponent, and Serenko got buzzed. So, listen, I think he's a skilled fighter, Serenko, but I'm not really sold on his durability. And Sakalovsky's not got a great record, but he's a real journeyman. He'll come to fight. He's not going to lie down. He'll throw some shots back. So, listen, man, if that happened, if Sakalovsky somehow won, obviously I'd be a bit surprised, but would I be completely shocked? Not really. Not really. Okay, D's driving right now, can't text. Pick up the D, man. What's a prediction for Taylor Ramirez? I've got Taylor on points, but I think it's a very hard fight. I don't think it's a sure thing. I see a lot of people out there like super confident that Taylor wins this one. Don't get me wrong, I'm picking Taylor, but I think it's going to be a very hard fight. Very hard fight. I think, I think Gonzalez, if he were to win, he picks holes in Estrada's defense and arm punches and KOs him. Estrada drags him into deep waters and wins on tenacity and pacing and speed. Yeah, it's one of those fights, man. It's one of those fights. The only thing I'm really certain on in regards to that fight is that it's going to be entertaining. It's not going to be a boring fight. That's the only thing I can predict with certainty. Those two guys are going to go to war. You best believe it. Fonzie voice, hey, pick up the BG London. Oh, fucking hell. This StreamYard is so glitchy. Yeah, Serenko had issues with Doboshenko in his last fight. Another very solid journeyman. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, still not good signs when you're getting rocked like that. It's not good signs. Serenko's been around for years, though. I've been hearing about this guy for years, and I've done a prospect video on him, I believe. I think he's pretty decent, but he needs to, he needs to stay a lot more active and actually step up the levels of competition, because I think any sort of prospect, whether it be heavyweight or whatever, if you're mucking around fighting the same level of opposition and not really stepping up, you can develop bad habits and stagnate as a fighter. And that's what I think Serenko, that's the risk he's facing right now. He needs to start stepping up. You got Josh Taylor. Yeah, I've got Josh Taylor on points. Salute to official. Indeed, yeah, smash for like, smash for like. Okay, this is Jay's question. How am I supposed to cope with loneliness? Every day I try to walk around town and get out, which helps. But in the end, I just wish I had one friend who cared and wants to talk to me. Man, all I can say from my experience, we all go through different phases in lives, and there's a time back in 2013 I lost my best friend. Like, the route I wanted to go down in regards to a career completely fucking failed, and I was in a bad fucking place, right? And the only thing that really helped me was basically exercise, which was boxing. Obviously, right now that's not really an option because of lockdowns and whatnot. But I went to the gym, started training. This was a new gym as well. Started training, got to know new people, and it became like a regimen in my life. Like every 3 days, I think it was 3 days. I think it was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I believe. Every 3 days, I went to the gym, done my hours, socialized, got to know new people. And that was like the catalyst to really just push me forwards again and get off my arse and just continue forwards, I guess. You got to find something, in my opinion, that will actually get you out there and basically force you to meet new people. Again, that's hard right now due to what's going on, but I think that in my experience, I'm a guy who likes, how do I describe it? I'm somebody who likes routine. And when that routine is broken, sometimes that kind of irritates me. But stepping out your comfort zone in occasions like that, to me, is extremely, extremely beneficial. It's hard to do, but when you step outside your comfort zone, to me, that's when good things are going to happen. But yeah, right now it's not ideal because of what's going on. But listen, bro, you'll get there. You'll get there. And listen, I'll always try and be more active as well, because I know on YouTube I'll try and be more active, because I know a lot of people right now, they're looking for things to do, they're looking for people to listen to. And listen, bro, comments like that, man, honestly mean the world to me. The fact you'd even ask me that. So now, big up to you, man. But yeah, you'll be fine, Jay, man. You'll be totally fine. Just got to soldier through, stiff upper lip, man. Be stoic. And listen, man, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's how I see it. This life is just a rat race, man. But you'll get there, man. There's no doubt about it. Like this year, man, I mean, I've made some serious changes to improve my own kind of personal well-being. 2020 for me was an eye-opening year due to what was going on. I viewed people in my life a lot differently due to what was going on. And I basically cut ties with a lot of people. I changed my living location to a more rural, like a more less populated area. And I made a lot of changes this year, and I'm still kind of adjusting. There's no doubt about it. But in the long run, I know it's going to be a good thing. And yeah, you got to sometimes just take those chances, take those risks to kind of elevate yourself out of that situation. But yeah, it's a hard one, man. It's a hard one. But yeah, big up to Jay's Boxing Universe. JD80. Big up to JD80. By the way, I want to see Taylor versus Adrian Broner. Do you know what, JD, man? I think that fight would be turgid. Honestly, I think it'll be boring. Broner's going to be looking at shelling up, throwing one punch at a time, and Taylor's just going to outwork him. Adrian Broner almost broke. I think Roman Gonzalez's weakness in this fight is his stamina has been decreasing ever so slightly. He takes more rounds off lately, but the good thing is he maintains defensive responsibility. That's a good point, Intangible, in regards to the stamina of Roman Gonzalez. I think I mentioned that in my prediction. I'm not sure, but it's something I've thought about. He does take a lot more breaks now. He's more economical when he works, when he takes a walk. You are very much right. You're very much right, yeah. And in that sort of fight against Estrada, the fight I think this rematch is going to be, I don't know, man. I can see Gonzalez tiring late on, man, and getting stopped. But big up to Intangible every single time. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't checked out Intangible Boxing News, I highly recommend it, because one of the most knowledgeable people on this website, and quite frankly, a good guy as well. He deserves a lot more subscribers than he's got, in my opinion. So big up to Intangible. Check out his channel. Very good stuff, man. He covers all sorts, man. So check him out. No, it's no problem, guys. It is what it is, man. It's a part of life, isn't it? It's a part of life. Just gotta roll with the punches, I guess, and keep on going forwards. That's all you can do. That's all you can do, bro. Estrada's weakness is his injury. Sorry, Estrada's weakness is that his injuries have taken a toll, in my opinion. He's always been a bit defensively lapsing, but his arm punches from his elbow injury is a factor. Chocolatito, if anyone, can capitalize on that. Yeah, that's something I've also mentioned about Estrada's injury problems. He is picking up a lot of injuries. Even back in like 2014, 2015, he was getting injured quite a lot. So he's got a track record of a lot of injuries. And again, in this sort of fight, you know, things like that can definitely play a factor. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. No, definitely not, BG. Definitely not. Not my scene, female boxing. Not my scene. You'd like to think so, bro. You'd like to think so. Sometimes I think about things like that. But, yeah, it's one of those things, man. Intangible says, it's been the toughest year of my life, and I've been talking to very few people, and the best thing I could do was just stay active and honestly leave home sometimes and try new things. Yeah, I think a lot of us, when we get in those sort of mindsets where things are not going as we would want them to, we kind of take solace in our routines, even if those routines are actually contributing to making us unhappy. It's a weird thing, right? I'm like that a lot as well, and over the years I've tried to break that habit. I'm a creature of habit, basically, and even when things are not really working in my favor, I tend not to change things, you know. And yeah, I've been getting out of that as I've got older, and just, you know, as I gain more experience in this crazy life. But there's no right or wrong answer. The way I see it, everyone has their own path, and we'll all get there in the end. The only thing to me is, in the process, I just try and be as nice a person as I can. And sometimes I get that fucking horribly wrong, don't get me wrong. But Blue, where do you have Terence Crawford on your pound for pound rankings? To be honest, H, I don't really have a pound for pound list. I'm not one of those people who, sit there and like draw up a list of the top 10 fighters in the world, pound for pound. It's just not my scene. All I know is Terence Crawford, in my opinion, is a world-class fighter. He just needs to improve that resume and get these big fights. Then we can see just truly how good he is. But I'm not really a guy for like pound for pound lists and whatnot. Never really been my scene. But he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. Official scorecard boxing science, yeah, rolling with the punches, but rolling like Floyd and Chocolatito, not like Berto and Broner. Yeah, exactly, bro. Because if you roll punches like Berto, you're gonna end up in a bad way. You're gonna end up in a bad way. PG London, he says, "Damn, you reached for cutting off friends point quick. I thought that was a 30s thing. Laugh out loud. Listen, I'm getting there, man. I'm 26 now, so I'm getting there. Before I know it, I'll be 30, bro." Roll with the punches like Dillian White against Marius Wack when he did the terrible James Toney impression. Oh dear. This is L-Dog Dylan Roof MXBC, fuck's sake. He says Loma 1, Canelo 2, Bud 3, Fury 4, Pacquiao 5. That's his list. Yeah. 1, Tanaka when his opponent isn't using egg weights. 2, Cannoli. 3, Inoue. 4, Ioka. 5, Estrada. You still love your a bit of Tanaka intangible. Tanaka's going to come back, though. I've got no doubt about that. There's no doubt whatsoever in my mind that Tanaka's going to come back. See, I'd love to see him go straight in there with Joe and Ancajas, because somebody needs to take that IBF title from Ancajas at this point. He's a fun fighter, but he's done nothing with it, man. Nothing whatsoever. He's had all of his title defenses. He must have 7 or 8 title defenses by now, Joe and Ancajas, and he's done absolutely nothing. That's what I want to see. I want to see Tanaka Ancajas. If I could make any fight for Tanaka, that would be the fight. Because I think that's very winnable, to be honest. Where do you rank Hagler all time at middleweights? Sorry, in the middleweights? Definitely top 5. There's no doubt about it. I prefer Carlos Monzon personally, but he's top 3. I would say Marvin Hagler. Top 3, top 5, that sort of area. But I like Carlos Monzon in terms of his style of fighting. Plus, he was a crazy guy, man. Guy was crazy. Big up to Johnny Boy in the chat. Salute, Del. Salute to Johnny's Boxing Empire. Another good channel, by the way. There we go. Sorry about that. Right, intangible. He says he's got Carlos Monzon, Harry Greb, Robinson, 3, 2, and 1. Yeah. See, I like Carlos Monzon. He's my favorite. Well, I'll say that. James Toney's my favorite fighter of all time. And obviously he was a middleweight at a point in time. But, in terms of like the top rankings at middleweight, Carlos Monzon definitely my favorite. I like Monzon a lot. Yes, indeed. Hi, Johnny. Yeah, big up to Johnny. See, Larry Holmes, to me, in terms of pure ability, was one of the best I've seen. Problem with Larry Holmes, his problem was that his era was obviously after Muhammad Ali and before Mike Tyson. His era wasn't really the strongest, and he never really gravitated towards the fans back in those days, But retrospectively, great fighter Larry Holmes. I could easily say you can easily see an argument Larry Holmes top 5. Best jab, in my opinion, in the heavyweight division. Full stop. His jab was amazing, varied, quick. His jab was amazing. Brilliant jab. Mike Tyson, Tommy Morrison. Oh, Mike Tyson, bro. Tommy Morrison was talented, but ultimately a glass cannon, to be honest. But Mike Tyson knocks him out relatively early, I would say. 3 or 4 rounds, prime Mike Tyson. I'll tell you what a good fantasy fight would be, including Tommy Morrison, would be Tommy Morrison, Dillian White. I'd love to see that fight. That'd be a great fantasy fight. Can't argue with that, Johnny. You can't argue with that. Big up to Cone Gaming. What do you make of Sam Jones and Joyce trying to A-side Usyk by telling him he's got to come to the UK? Listen, man, that's Sam Jones for you. That's Sam Jones. I would say Usyk is a bigger name, though, quite frankly. And obviously, he's achieved a hell of a lot more. So, yeah, that's a bit of a piss take. It's probably just, Sam Jones talking for talking's sake because he's like that. But I've got a feeling that fight's going to happen, by the way. I've got a feeling that fight's going to happen. So I think we'll see it. But, yeah, Sam Jones needs to just chill a little bit. Big up to Adam UK every single time, bro. How did you rate Ushiyama when he was champion? He was a good champion, fairly long reigning. I was shocked actually when he lost to was it Jezreel Corrales? I think he lost to. He lost to Jezreel Corrales, I believe. And yeah, he was a good champion, no doubt about it. He was a good champion. But never really had the standout resume though. When you look at his resume, what's his best wins? Brian Vasquez. I think he beat no, he beat Miura, I think. He beat Miura. He beat Vasquez. His resume wasn't all that special. That's the only thing. But he was a good fighter, Ushiyama. I wish we got Ushiyama versus Mikey, though, back in the day. That would have been a good fight. But yeah, he was a good champion. He was a good champion. Official scorecard boxing science. Aram used his connections with the FBI and put Ankahass in the witness protection program. Yeah, man, it's silly, isn't it? Ankahass is a fun fighter, but he's not done anything, unfortunately. Oh, bollocks. Sorry about that. Yeah, Intangible says, yeah, I'm still a Tanaka fan, but I forgot to prepare my cheating accusations before the Ioka fight, so I haven't been as vocal and I haven't really shown up in any legal context, but ride or die. Yeah, he'll come back, bro, and he'll definitely be a world champion again, I'm sure of that. He's too good not to be. And he just fought the wrong fight, in my opinion, against Ioka. He was a bit naive in his approach. He was doing some good things, don't get me wrong. He was competitive, but just a little bit naive in his approach. But he's still quite young, man. He's had less than 20 fights. He's still young. He'll definitely come back. He'll definitely come back. If you were training Chocolatito for this Estrada fight, what would you tell him to do? To give him the best chance. Damn, that's a hard one. Do you know what? I think Gonzalez in this fight has to be in and out. I certainly think Gonzalez can get the better of Estrada on the inside. To me, the danger zone for Gonzalez is the mid-range. I think that's where Estrada's most dangerous. I'll be trying to fight in flurries, spend a moment on the inside, work, get out, rinse and repeat, basically. Boxing with Estrada from range, in my opinion, is not a good idea. Constantly pressuring Estrada, probably not a good idea. It's about picking his spots, in my opinion. Working, getting out, and, fighting that sort of fight. Yes, big up to Right Hook Boxing. Another good channel, by the way. Very good channel, Right Hook Boxing. Yeah, Carlos Monzon, beautiful boxer. Yeah, lovely jab. Carlos Monzon, lovely jab. Crazy fucking guy, though. Crazy guy. Big up to Nordic Warrior in the building. Another good channel. We've got a few good channels popping in here, man. Official Scorecard Boxing Science as well. By the way, big up to G-Man Boxing. Salute, shout out to Blue Collar Sports TV. Another good channel. We've had a lot of content creators coming in here tonight. So yeah, check out G-Man Boxing. Very good channel. Again, thank you for the super chat, bro. Official Scorecard Boxing Science. Another good channel. Nordic Warrior. Good channel. Right Hook Boxing. Intangible. Some good channels in here, man. Some good channels. Aaron was a witness during the IBF scandal in the early 2000s. Check out the Dark Side of Boxing documentary. Yeah, Aaron is as crooked as they come. There's no doubt about it. AJ Morningstar, you're underestimating Tommy Morrison. No, I rate Tommy Morrison in terms of talent a lot higher than a lot of people, but against Mike Tyson, he's too brittle in my opinion. He would get knocked out. I think that's a bad style matchup for Tommy. That one. Joyce is going to drown Usyk. It's a hard fight, bro. It's a very hard fight. Listen, I make Usyk a favourite, but you can't write off Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is surprisingly adaptable as well, which is what people, I think even his opponents don't really come to grips with. He's deceptive, Joe Joyce, in regards to how good he is. Very dangerous fight for Usyk. Big up to Niril. Who's the best light heavyweight in the UK? It's a hard one because obviously Anthony Yard's been beat a couple of times. It's not him. Lyndon Arthur beat Anthony Yard, but we need to see more. Buatsi still unproven. I would say Callum Johnson, but he's been so inactive for so long now, and he's like 35 years old. To me, the answer's up in the air right now in regards to best light heavyweight. It's up in the air. Yeah, Tommy Morrison was ruined by AIDS and poor lifestyle choices. Yeah, because he was talented, Tommy Morrison. He had ability. He had power. You know, there's no doubt. He was a good fighter, Tommy. Just, yeah, like you say, he's just a bit of a head case. Not yet. He's not a top 5 heavyweight yet, but he could be. He could be. If he were to beat Usyk, then definitely, in my opinion. But he could be. Not yet, though. That guy, he says, big up Del Boy, smash that like, people. Indeed, yeah, smash for like, as that guy would say, smash for like. Make those nerds down at Silicon Valley happy. Joyce may run out of rounds. If it was old school 15 rounder, I'd favour Joyce. Good point. Yeah, man, it would have been a fun fight. Explosive fight. Somebody's getting knocked out. I think it would be Tommy, personally, but it'll be a good fight. That's a good fight again. Jay's Boxing Universe. How would you have seen Mikey versus Gamboa at 130 back in the day? See, that was a fight that was supposed to happen way back when, but it never did. Gamboa back then was a real fucking good fighter. Blaring hand speed, power, combinations, athleticism. Yeah, he was always chinny. He could get caught, but he was so exciting back then, Gamboa. But Mikey had better fundamentals, in my opinion. You know, the 1-2, decent posture, decent guard. I think Mikey would have been too big for him, but Gamboa back then was very dangerous. Very dangerous. It would have been a good fight, though. We should have seen that fight, as well as Gamboa versus what's dude's name? Juanma Lopez as well. Another fight I would have loved to have seen was Tommy Morrison during his decline versus Prime Butterbean. That would have been an instant classic 4-rounder. It would have been a good fight, bro. It would have been a good fight. I'd have definitely watched it, put it that way. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Tanaka's still one hell of a talent, just needs to fix up his defense a bit. Yeah. And again, big up to G-Man Boxing for the support every single time. Great things for Tanaka is that he's aware that his boxer-coach relationship with his dad reached its limits and decided to find the new coach. Yep. I'm looking forward to seeing him come back, Tanaka. Yeah, Gonzalez needs to be economical and pick his spots. Don't be too exotic with your combinations and keep your punches straight. Walk him into the uppercut. Go to counter punching and pocket basics. Yeah, I totally agree. Intangible. I totally agree. I don't think Gonzalez in this fight can fight fire with fire and really try and bully Estrada. I think that would be the wrong tactics. I think boxing him would be the wrong tactics. It's a mix and match job, in my opinion. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Mike Tyson and Tommy had great left hooks. But I just think Mike was more compact, more explosive, quicker, better boxing ability, better defense. He was just better than Tommy Morrison all around. What's next for Avni Yildirim? Christ, I would say retirement, because where's he going to go? He could use his name to be like a high level gatekeeper maybe, but apart from that, I don't really see a future for Yildirim in the division. I really don't. Maybe a gatekeeper kind of thing. See, someone like Zach Parker in the UK, Zach Parker versus Avni Yildirim. Fair enough, I'd watch that fight. That's the level though Yildirim should be fighting at. Big up to Dave Allen's last brain cell. I like that username, by the way. Every time I see that username, it makes me smile. So big up to Dave Allen's last brain cell. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Callum Johnson can punch, bro. There's no doubt. Yeah, he dropped Beterbiev. He was fighting fire with fire. Just got overpowered in the end. But Callum Johnson can fight, man. He can fight a bit. When you start in your second channel, Dell, it'll be soon, bro. Again, it's the name I'm really struggling on right now. It's the name that I'm struggling to come up with. That's my main, that's my main kind of issue right now with the second channel. Finding the name. Once I've found the name, I can do the artwork and then get going, basically. But we'll get there, man. We'll get there. Good things come to those who wait, as they say. Although I've been waiting a fucking long time, so whether that's true or not, I don't know. Biggest puncher in boxing right now, pound for pound, I think Inoue's up there, of course. I want to say my boy Beterbiev. Wilder's still got to be in there with a shout. I'd say Inoue, though, pound for pound. Kose Tanaka should join Derek James and Sparta Errol Spence and Jamal Charlo. That's how I see it. Thanks for stopping by in the Dwyer voice. Oh, dear. Marquez versus Josh Taylor at 140. Who wins? That'll be a dream fight. I've got to go Marquez, man. Listen, Taylor's good, but I think people are getting a little overexcited with Josh Taylor. I like Josh Taylor a lot. He's my favorite UK fighter, but I would go Marquez, to be honest. Marquez late stoppage. Interesting. Big up to Fight Film, by the way. Prime Gamboa would beat Mikey up, in my opinion. Get up from a knockdown or two and make him quit. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you go back to that Salido fight. Mikey was well in control. He dropped Salido, 2 or 3 times, whatever it was. But as that fight went on, as Salido was hanging in there, man, Mikey, he was starting to fade, man. And when that nose went, he wanted out, man. He wanted out. Mikey, with Mikey Garcia, I think the kid's got talent. He's got good, solid fundamentals. But one thing that with Mikey that stuck with me was when he said, and this was years ago, but he said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, I only do boxing because I'm good at it, not that I love it. That's what Mikey basically said. It's a good way to earn money. I'm good at it. That's why I box. I don't really love it, though. And with that sort of mindset, yeah, you could easily see something like that happening, to be honest. But yeah, Mikey Garcia is a guy I've never gravitated towards, man. Yeah, I loved Tommy as a kid, but he was a glass cannon. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Good question. Who should current reigning Olympics super heavyweight gold medalist Tony Yoka fight next? It's time for him to get in the Hunter, Hrgovic, Joyce, Usyk mix. Yeah, what's he now? 9-10-0. Filip Hrgovic. Best wins Christian Hammer. I would say Tony Yoka versus someone like Robert Helenius, but I think Helenius is fighting Kaunaki again. But someone along those sort of around that level, a Helenius type, that's the sort of level I want to see Yoka fight at in his next fight. Again, Yoka's got good solid fundamentals, nice high guard, good straight punches, decent enough punch technique, but he doesn't really have that X factor to me. Not really a massive puncher at heavyweight, not super quick. I think he's going to get found out, to be honest, Tony Yoka. I think he'll get found out. Is there any fights tonight? No, bro. There's no fights tonight from what I understand. It's next weekend. That's Gonzalez, Estrada. Yeah, so Parker Barry split. I mean, Listen, I've been calling for Parker to leave Kevin Barry for a while and basically up sticks and change his location, kind of step out of his comfort zone. But according to the reports, Parker's actually staying in New Zealand. That was the reason for the split. Basically, Kevin Barry trains out of Las Vegas. He's got a gym there, and Parker wants to stay in New Zealand. So I don't really see much changing for Joseph Parker. I think he really needs to change things up. I think Parker's got ability, he's got talent, he's got decent speed, good chin, respectable enough power, okay boxing ability. Parker's got some good attributes. He just doesn't have that, you know, eye of a tiger, I guess, that cliche saying. He just doesn't have it. And the Dillian White fight's the most obvious example of that because he should have won that fight, Joseph Parker. He threw it away. He threw it away. Dillian was lucky when I fought him. I had a fiver on him to win. I let him win. Yeah. Tommy Morrison boxed quite well actually in that fight as well against George Foreman. He picked his spots really nicely. Didn't get too involved. Yeah. Tommy had ability. Just a bit of a head case, like I said, man. Bit of a head case. Yildirim can go to Hollywood and be an action stuntman. Yeah, I mean, he was horrendous, man, against Canelo. I mean, he probably it was just horrendous, honestly, horrendous by Yildirim, and it begs the question: why so much respect for Canelo? Canelo's had this guy in numerous sparring camps, right? So he must be he must be good work. If you have this guy in numerous camps, he must be decent work for you, right? As a sparring partner. Where was the fire from Yildirim in the actual fight? It was just embarrassing. It was a mismatch, man. Horrible fight. A crash test dummy, Anthony Yildirim. Yeah, they would have fought each other if Mike didn't lose to Buster Douglas. Yeah. Did Yildirim versus Durrell show how poor Durrell is? Yeah, in a sense it did, but I think Durrell's been past his best for a little while now, to be honest, E-Machines. I think Durrell's been past it for a little while. I don't think Durrell was that great anyway, quite frankly, but I don't think he was that great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Durrell was considerably past his prime, in my opinion. He would have stopped Yildirim in his prime days. Yeah, I'd probably agree. A horror channel, they'll call it Jimmy Savile's Dungeon. Yeah, big up to Levi Khan in the building as well. Yeah, Christian Lewis, he's got a new biggest puncher in boxing, pound for pound. Nah, E-Machines. I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan, to be honest. I'm not really a big fan. Occasionally, I might listen to one here and there if it's got a guest on I like, but Joe Rogan to me is just, I don't know, man. I've gone right off Joe Rogan. He does, yeah. And when he throws his shots, Nordic, a lot of the time, when you see him throw his shots, it doesn't look like it should have that much power behind it, but it does, man. He's a big fucking puncher. Levi Khan, Trevor Bryan versus David Price. Give old Pricey his shot at a world title. Laugh out loud. I'd watch it. Price would have a chance as well. He would have a chance. Yeah, remember when the UK had 13 world champions, Terry Flanagan included? Yep. And that goes to show how easy or how worthless a lot of these belts are. Because the UK fans back then were saying, oh, UK runs boxing. Well, look at the state of some of these champions, man, and look at how they won some of those belts. It was flattering on the UK boxing scene that we had 13 world champions at one point. Really flattering. Andy Ruiz, but TKO fought over Areola, in my opinion. It's a poor fight. Areola's a fat mess these days. He's well past his best. I mean, it's a fight designed to make Ruiz look good. I wouldn't have a problem with it if it was on regular TV, but it's on pay-per-view. Can you imagine that? Areola Ruiz on pay-per-view in 2021. Imagine if somebody told you, after Vitaly Klitschko beat down Chris Areola back in like 2009, whenever it was, somebody told you then that in 2021 Areola's going to be headlining pay-per-views, you'd fucking laugh, wouldn't you? Honestly, you'd laugh. Top 5 English fighters. Current top 5, do you mean? If you're talking about current, Fury, Joshua, fuck me, Billy Joe, as much as it pains me to say it. I guess you still got to put Warrington in. Well, yeah, Josh Warrington in there, maybe. Am I missing anybody? Yeah, I'm saying it's not great, bro. It's not great. Can't really think. I can't really think, mate, to be honest. Pricey could actually beat Trevor Bryan and become a world champion, laugh out loud. Yeah, he'd have a chance. He would have a chance because Trevor Bryan's not great at all. Are you taking the piss, AZ? Cash Ali, David Price 2 in May, apparently. I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. They were talking about as well David Price versus Hughie Fury. I like that fight a lot, actually. That fight could make Hughie Fury look like a monster puncher. I want to see that fight for the aesthetic of seeing Hughie Fury lay him out. I actually think Ruiz Areola is going to be a pretty good fight, competitive while it lasts. I don't know, man. I know Areola he actually fought quite well against Kalnaki, but I don't know, man. I just think that was a last stand type of thing for Areola. I think he's going to get smashed up, to be honest. He's a tough guy, though, Areola. I've got to give him that credit. He's a tough guy. I'll say that about him. Mikey Garcia was born into boxing. He's not a fighting man in John Fury voice, yeah. He's not a fighting man, yeah. But you're right, yeah. He was born into boxing. He turned out to be good at it, so he stuck with it, basically. But yeah. I stopped by an Unrivaled stream with you all last night, I think, lol. It was good chat about Canelo Saunders, yeah. Yeah, that was a good stream, man. Imagine if Helenius became a world champion at this stage, laugh out loud. Yeah, I was always I wouldn't say I was high on Helenius, but I always thought he would do better than he did. But obviously injuries for Helenius kind of really stunted his career. But Helenius at one point was a good talent. He was seen as one of the next heirs to the Klitschko throne because back then, like in 2011, 2012 kind of area, it was basically Helenius, David Price, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. Those were the names getting mentioned for Vladimir's successor. But yeah, never worked out for Helenius, man. Jim McDonald, Josh Warrington versus Josh Whale at Ponds Forge in June. Yeah, UFC 259. Yeah, Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz, whatever his name is. It's a good fight. Yeah, man. Listen, bro. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I thought Frank Warren did a great job with Josh Warrington, to be honest. I don't think he should have left. Vacating your title to fight an unknown puncher from Mexico is just a bad move, quite frankly. I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but he may as well just have fought Kid Galahad again, quite frankly. That's what he should have done. Just fight Kid Galahad again. You know, you're certainly not going to get knocked out like that, are you? That was a poor move by Matchroom, by vacating the title to fight an unknown puncher from Mexico. Just a poor move by Eddie. Poor move. But he can come back. He can come back. But he wants that rematch. Be very dangerous for Warrington. But, you know, if he wants to take it, fair play to him. But I think that's going to end in tears. Or it could end in tears. There's a good chance it could end in tears. Mikey Garcia messed up fighting Errol Spence. Reminds me of Kell Brook and Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, I wish Mikey stayed at lightweight, BG London. Because after Mikey came back, after his hiatus, you know, that legal issue with Top Rank, when he came back, he said he wants to make his bones at lightweight and he wants to become a lightweight great. That's what he said. He had a couple of fights at lightweight, then moved up. The guy was Mikey is just a mercenary. And that's why I've never really been enthralled in his career. He's basically just a money guy. He wants to get the big money fights, but he's not really interested in building a legacy or resume. But at least, to be fair to Mikey Garcia, one thing I will credit him for is he's actually honest about it, to be fair to him. He is quite honest about it. So I've got to give Mikey that credit at least. He is honest about that. A new trainer can't do anything with sorry, I'll start again. A new trainer can't do anything with an 8-week training camp for the Chisora fight. Yeah, you're talking about Joseph Parker. Yeah, it's a hard fight for Parker at this stage, bro. It's a hard fight given how Parker's been looking recently. The only thing is, though, stylistically, Chisora comes straight on, and he's there to be hit. You can see Parker timing him and walking him into shots. So Parker, to me, that's a 50-50 fight at this stage. Parker Chisora, it's a 50-50 fight because right now we can't really count on Joseph Parker, but you can't really count on Derek Chisora either. You never know what you're going to get. So that's a hard fight to call, in my opinion. To me, Parker should convincingly win that fight on points. He's got the ability to. He's a better boxer, quicker hands, more talented. I would say he hits harder. I think Parker's a better boxer than Chisora, but he's not got that same fighting spirit that Chisora has. So that's a hard fight to call, Cop End, in my opinion. It's a good fight, though. To me, that's the fight that makes sense for Parker right now, and Chisora. That fight makes a lot of sense. Oh, shit. I thought Josh Warrington was underrated, but he showed pure stupidity against Lara. No boxing awareness. I thought it was a walkover. Yeah, he went into that fight with the mindset that this is just a tune-up and this guy's here to roll over. And when he got caught for the first time, he realised that this kid can punch, and I'm not prepared for this. Warrington never looked right from the first round, and my thing with that was, I don't think it was because he was unfit or anything like that. I just think he felt the power really early on and he realised he wasn't prepared for that sort of fight. Because you've got to mentally get yourself up for that sort of fight. Do you know what I mean? And if you're not mentally up for it and it springs itself upon you, you're in a lot of trouble. And I think that's what happened to Warrington in that fight. Hellenius has never received a world title shot for a reason. They are scared to give the Nordic Nightmare a chance because they know. Listen, man, he can punch. Better or worse, he can definitely punch. But yeah, I remember Robert Hellenius back on the Box Nation days on the come-up against Samuel Peter, Sergey Liakovic, Lamont Brewster. I was watching Hellenius back then. And yeah, back then I thought he was a very good prospect. He looked like something out of a slasher movie, Robert Hellenius. Looked like a fucking killer. Yoka's problem is that he has huge money. Sorry, official scorecard boxing science. Yoka's problem is that he has a huge money contract over here with Canal Plus that Top Rank can't match. But one day Yoka's going to have to fight the top opposition in the US, but for lesser money. Yeah. See, now you're based in France, official. How big of a name is Yoka in France? Is he a household name? I certainly don't think Yoka's bad. I don't think he's a bad prospect, but I just don't think he's one of those guys where you look at him and think, this guy's definitely going to be a world champion. He's solid, but I just don't see him going to the top, Tony Yoka. Every single time I do one of these fucking streams, I get so far behind. Silly. Yeah, Tommy versus Foreman was a pretty good fight. Tommy outboxed him, but was struggling with the size and ring pressure of Big George. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan Nordic. That's how far I am behind. I spoke about Joe Rogan ages ago. Jesus. Yeah, bump of K. See, I quite rate Devin Haney in terms of his raw ability. I think there's a very good fighter there, but he's starting to piss me off, quite frankly. Granted, I think Ryan Garcia is ducking him, to be honest, and Teofimo Lopez doesn't really seem keen either. But Lomachenko called him out, right? Devin said to Lomachenko, I'm free in April, bloody, bloody, blah. All of a sudden, Team Haney seemed rather in a rush to make that Linares fight. Do you know what I mean? So Devin's talking a lot. I'm yet to be convinced, man. But I think he's talented. But yeah, he needs to just stop talking, man. These lightweights are starting to really irritate me. Teofimo, Devin, Ryan, these young guys, man, starting to irritate me. Joe Rogan's show lost it when they couldn't show clips anymore. Yeah, he went to Spotify, didn't he? Yeah. Joe Rogan's an absolute simp. The guy looks like a freak, man. That guy's not going to make old bones, man. Seen the state of him, man. That HGH. Look at his head, man. His head's changed shape over the years. That can't be good for you, man. That can't be good for you. Joe Rogan's one of those guys where I thought to myself, this guy is like, I don't know. He's into some weird shit, Joe Rogan. He's a weirdo. Tommy Morrison was born in the wrong era. Eddie Hearn would have promoted the shit out of him. Too many legends in the 90s, yeah. Joe Rogan knows about as much about martial arts as LDBC knows about boxing. See, I'm not really sure on what Joe Rogan knows about MMA because I'm a casual when it comes to that. I'm a super casual. Yes, that was the IFL IFL interview, JDav. Yeah, I saw that interview as well, and he wasn't committal at all in regards to Sky. Anthony Yildirim should be in Taken 4. Yeah, Joe Rogan's a hype man when it comes to UFC, MMA. Yeah, definitely. He's a hype man. One guy has a great win. Oh, he's one of the best of all time. Like, come on now. Yeah, Yildirim's performance against Canelo made me look at Peter McNeely's effort against Tyson a whole different way. Yeah, at least McNeely came to fight, as comical as it was. But don't you guys think that was weird? The Yildirim fight. So, again, I'll reiterate, Yildirim was a sparring partner for Canelo, and Canelo used him multiple times, which lends you to believe Yildirim was good work in sparring. Why was there no effort in the ring from Yildirim? I mean, just really poor, man. Really, really poor. Yeah, that's what I think, Nordic, because it's a good fight. That's the sort of fight Huey should take next. I thought the Marius Wack fight was a good test for him. And ultimately, these are the sort of fights Huey should have had before he fought the likes of Povetkin, Parker, and Pulev. These are the sort of fights he should have had back then. But yeah, it's a good fight for Huey. I'd lean towards Huey though late rounds. White's going for a points win against an older Povetkin. Was winning last time until getting caught badly. Yeah, I think he'll try and play it safe as well. Because a loss in that fight for Dillian, basically, it rules him out, doesn't it? It rules him out the title picture for a long time. And also his market value gets damaged badly as well. So, yeah, I think Dillian's going to try and play it safety first as well. I'm not sure that's the right idea, though, to be honest. Because Dillian's the longer, taller guy, but he's so raw and ungainly. Boxing for 12 rounds against Povetkin with his skill set, he's going to make mistakes, man. He can't be too passive in that fight. I don't think he can. He needs to put it on Povetkin. and try and force Povetkin backwards behind that jab. You can maintain range and still fight on the front foot. That's what Dillian needs to do, in my opinion. A good high guard, hard, long jab, try and push Povetkin back. I don't think Dillian should try and box on the back foot and mess around and all that stuff. I really don't. But I like that rematch a lot. I'm really I'm into that fight. Because I do like Povetkin a lot. I like Povetkin. I used to really like Dillian White as well, actually, but like his fan base just kind of irritated me towards the latter years of Dillian White's career. Big up Dell, he says, I think Chocolatito versus Estrada will be a potential fight of the year, unless the AJ Fury fight will be better. Yeah, it's got the potential, Chocolatito Estrada. The first fight was great as well, if you've not seen it. First fight was brilliant, really close as well. Yeah, Huey Fury was a beast against Wack. Hopefully he fights like that again. Yeah, he came to fight in that one. He came to fight. Fight film, top 5 English fighters: Fury, Joshua, Joy, Saunders, Okole. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. See, Lawrence Okole is a weird one. I think there's a good fighter there, but he's extremely ungainly. That he fouls a lot. But with Shane McGuigan, I've noticed a few improvements with Okole. He's starting to get his distance control a little bit better. He's taken half a step back, popping the jab, making room for his right hand. I think there's a good fighter in there with Okole, but you know he's a late starter to boxing, and you can definitely see that in his style. But he's going to be he is going to be formidable at cruiserweight, especially in the UK when he's at home with his tactics. He's going to be a hard guy to beat. But I'd agree with that, actually, that top 5. J-Dav again, man. Insinuating I like fat girls. Look at J-Dav, man. Big up to Truthson, by the way. Yildirim was weird. Looked like it looks like they made him drink some horse laxative extra simp juice pre-fight, mate. Yeah, he looked just completely uninterested, man. It was peculiar. It really was. It was really weird, man. Yeah, Frank got Warrington some good domestic fights. Yeah, got him on pay-per-view as well against Frampton, the Lee Selby fight as well. Yeah, you know. Yeah, Frank did a good job with Warrington. Yeah, big up to Rapstar Boxing Knowledge. Elvis ECL as well in the chat. Big up to you, sir. Yeah, I think it would have made more sense as well. And now it looks like Kid Galahad's going to leave Eddie Hearn. Apparently, he's going to the PBC and he's going to fight for that vacant belt. So, all in all, it's a big L for Eddie Hearn. It's a big L. Yeah, some of it's been questionable, G-Man. Levi Khan, Chocolatito, I hope he beats Estrada. Going to be tougho, but he's a legend. Viva Nicaragua, yep. It's going to be a hard fight, no doubt. I like both guys, to be honest. It's one of those fights where I'm not really rooting for anybody, and I feel bad for the loser because I like both guys. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Yeah, exactly, Rapstar. Just to duck Galahad, he went to fight the unknown Lara and lost, yeah. See, if I did that, if I was Eddie Hearn and I did that, I'd have Warrington fight, you know, a respectable but a non-puncher kind of thing. But yeah, they messed it up badly. Warrington lost that fight for one reason. He did not prepare for a hard 12 rounds. Yeah. He just thought it was a tune-up fight, probably. Or who knows, maybe he trained really hard for it and maybe Lara just had his number. It could be that. It could be that, but Josh Warrington could have gone old school and had a non-title fight. Why don't champions have non-title fights anymore if they want a cherry pick tune-up? Yeah, that's a good point. That's what like Julio Cesar Chavez used to do a lot back in the day as well. Like he used to one fight he'd fight for his title, he'll defend it. The next fight he'd fight in Mexico against a cab driver, basically. Yeah, a lot of old school fighters did that back in the day. Yeah, I caught that as well, Levi Khan. So Liam Smith is fighting in Russia next, then versus Jesse Vargas per Eddie Hearn. I don't get why he's fighting in Russia. Who is he going to fight in Russia? That got me intrigued. Are they putting on a card in Russia or what? That's an interesting one. Yeah, Parker's pretty rubbish now in my opinion. Seems to have given up trying to improve. Yeah, he's stagnated, Joseph Parker. I say stagnated actually. He's probably got worse, quite frankly. But back in the day when he was on the come up, I was always really impressed with Joseph Parker. Nice hand speed, good combinations, power. He looked like a dynamic heavyweight, but I don't know, man. He earned his money, made a lot of money, and he seems to have just coasted ever since. Like the Dillian White fight and the Joshua fight left a bad taste in my mouth because the one moment in that Joshua fight where Parker put it on Joshua, he caught Joshua, I believe, with an uppercut, and Joshua's legs buckled for a moment and he went back. And Parker never really built on that at all or never tried to do it again or whatever. He was there to basically make up the numbers against Joshua. And in the Dillian White fight, boxed well in the first 2 rounds, in my opinion. He won those rounds. He proved he's a better boxer than Dillian White. Then White started to slug and apply pressure. Parker went into his shell. And when Parker fought fire with fire in rounds 11 and 12, Parker got the fucking better of it. You know? So, to me, man, Joseph Parker, he threw away the Dillian White fight. You know, Dillian White never won that fight. Parker threw it away, in my opinion. And the Joshua fight just left a bad taste in my mouth. It really did, man. Kaunaki versus Wilder is another possible option for his comeback, according to Mike Coppinger. Okay. See, Kaunaki's made to order for Deontay Wilder. You know, comes straight forwards, no defense. Wilder should knock him out, but you never know. If Kaunaki can get on Wilder's chest and work up close, then he could give Wilder problems. But you would imagine Deontay knocks him out even now. Yeah, he can definitely outbox Chisora. It's when Chisora gets grimy and rough in there. How's Parker going to respond? That's my question for Joseph Parker. Parker Chisora or Ruiz Arreola, which pay-per-view is worse? For me, Ruiz Arreola pay-per-view is an absolute joke. Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think Parker Chisora is great, but if I had to pay for one, I'd rather pay for that, to be honest. Okay, is that official, Levi? Because that first fight was very good. The first fight was very good. So hopefully they can do it again. Yeah, that's a good shout, Crazy D3. Parker Chisora should be on the Usyk Joyce undercard. Yeah, that'd be a great event then if they could do that, but it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Who would have thought Chisora would be a headline pay-per-view fighter in the UK in 2021? It's madness. It's madness. Yeah, I used to rate him as well, Nordic. I used to believe he would be a very dangerous fighter in the heavyweight division, but never really panned out. Injuries, promotional issues, you know. But I was pleased for him when he knocked out Kaunaki. I was definitely pleased for him. Yeah, that's a good shout. Yoka versus Takam. That's a good shout. Again, it's a sellable fight because you know Takam is a name in France, I guess. 2 Frenchmen. That'll definitely make sense. Yeah, is that official, Levi? John Pascal versus Badu Jack 2? Because I want to see that. That was a good fight first time around. I'll be honest, Nordic. I thought Chisora won that fight, but I've not seen it since the time. So maybe I'll feel differently if I watch it again. It's one of those fights I need to see again. What I remember, the only thing I really remember from that fight is the first round when Chisora got hurt. So I think Hellenius hurt Chisora in the first round, and that round Hellenius fucked up his hand. I think if I remember correctly. Yeah, it is a quality nickname, Bump of K, Nordic Nightmare. Yeah, it is. Okay, so Tony Yoka, he's not a superstar, but being that he boxes on a big network, he's getting huge hype. Okay, so he's getting a lot of coverage, a lot of attention. Does Tony Yoka look better than Fury at the same stages of their careers? Nobody expected Fury to be a world champion after the same number of fights. That's true, but when Fury had 11 fights or 10 fights, whatever Yoka's got, he was a lot younger than Yoka is now. So I don't know. I'm not convinced by Tony Yoka. Again, I think he's a good prospect, but nothing more than that. Just a good, solid prospect. I wonder if Robert Hellenius plays Skyrim. He looks like the default Nord build. That's a good fight. See, this fight makes sense. Robert Hellenius versus Otto Wallin in Viking War. Yeah, that fight in Finland or Sweden, that'd be a great fucking fight. That'd be a great fight. That makes a lot of sense. I'd probably favour Wallin at this stage, but it's a good fight. Oh shit, fucking hell. I keep on nearly timing people out by mistake. BG London, I'm still a Kalnaki fan. I'm not writing him off yet. He's a fun fighter. Listen, he's fun. He'll come to fight. He's entertaining, but I would write him off personally as like a real contender. I'm writing him off. I'll be honest. Yeah, there's that as well. There wasn't the expectation on Tyson Fury on the come up. He wasn't like an Olympic gold medalist or anything like that. He was a relatively big name. Don't get me wrong. He was getting coverage in the UK, but he was always kind of seen as like I want to say almost a circus act. To be honest, there was never really that kind of expectation from Tyson Fury on the come up in the UK. Yeah, that is true. Tiafimo's proved a lot more than Devin, Ryan, Tank. But that's true. But even Tiafimo right now, he's talking a little too much, in my opinion. He's talking a little too much. Like all of these guys are trying to flex on each other, saying I'm the A side, I'm the A side, I'm the A side. I mean, just make the fights, man. Build a real resume, build a real legacy. And let's say Tiafimo cleans out the division, then he can start talking and saying, do you know what? For the work I've put in, you need to maybe take a few you need to take a few you need to basically concede to a few demands to get a fight with me. I'd understand it in that perspective, but Tiafimo's got one really good win and he's acting like he's a pound for pound superstar kind of thing. So yeah, Tio needs to call it as well, in my opinion. He needs to call it a little bit. Plenty of boxers could go into MMA and do damage. I'm not sure, man. Both guys, both sports really should leave each other alone, in my opinion. I've not seen it. Intangible. I've not seen it. Dwyer's post-fight video of Robert Hellenius, Derek Chisora is the greatest video of all time. Never seen him that angry. Oh dear. Dwyer's funny, man. Listen, I disagree with a lot of what Dwyer says, but one thing about Dwyer, I'll always say his opinion is definitely his own. That I will say that much. That's what I can respect him for. And he is kind of entertaining as well, let's be honest. He's kind of entertaining. Big up to Ian Ward in the chat. He says, "Evening, Del Boy. Does Joe Rogan still shoot big game like lions and elephants? He's a strange guy." I'm not sure about Joe Rogan, bro. I'm not sure about Joe Rogan. But there's nothing wrong with hunting. But yeah, I'm not sure about Joe though. He's a weirdo. Man, I'd love to go like proper full out hunting. I've been on like game hunts and whatnot, like pheasants and whatnot, that sort of thing. I've done that before, and I've caught what I've catching fish, eating what I've caught and whatnot, catching lobsters, crabs. I've done things like that, but I like to go proper hunting. To be honest, I'd like to give it a try, and basically killing and then obviously cooking, cleaning and cooking what I eat, kind of thing. I'd love to do that. Because when I have done things like that, I've very much enjoyed it. And doing that, one thing, it sounds cliche, but when you do things like that, from my experience, like the food that comes from it is so much more, you just appreciate it that much more when you've worked hard all fucking day to get it. Do you know what I mean? It is, there's something to it, definitely. Dwyer was influenced by the epic sports garbage Freddie Roach commentary. Hellenius clearly beat Chisora. Even Box Nation had him winning. The robbery narrative was ridiculous. I need to see that again, bro. I need to see that fight again. Because like I say, all I remember from that fight is the first round, basically. And yeah, big up to Truth Son again, by the way. Nordic's not having it. Akole's a complete bum. Oh dear. I watched Lawrence Akole's rap video yesterday and I was horrified. Yeah, he's terrible, bro. He's awful. he can definitely box better than he can rap. I'll give him that. Could Canelo stand the chance of beating Joe Smith or Artur Beterbiev at light heavyweight? Beterbiev, absolutely not. Joe Smith, more than likely not. I'd pick both guys to beat Canelo at light heavyweight. If it's a true light heavyweight fight, of course, no rehydration. I'd pick both guys to beat Canelo. I didn't even dislike Akole that much, but when I realised he started making music, that did it for me. Oh dear. Yeah, the Whittaker fight was BS, and obviously the Taylor fight, Meldrick Taylor, that stoppage, most controversial in boxing history, you would say. What, Meldrick Taylor had 2 seconds left to really see out the fight? Yeah. Meldrick Taylor basically got fucked in that fight, let's be honest. He did get fucked. But it was a great fight. Some would say fight of a decade in the 90s. It was a great fight. Junior Pigeon Far. I like that name. Chisora's fights are for boxing simps. I think so anyway. I don't know how he's on pay-per-view, bro, these days. I really don't. Yeah, despite dropping Dillian in round 12, Joe still didn't do a Tunde and empty the tank to get him out of there. Dillian was ready to go. Indeed, he was. Yep. Yeah, that is true. That guy. Yeah, when he buckled AJ, that dipshit ref jumped in with some BS, in my opinion. Remember feeling really pissed off at that point with the fight. Yeah, the referee was terrible in that fight. Never really gave either guy a chance to work on the inside or at all. When they got anywhere close to each other, he was seeming to break it up straight away. Never let the guys punch out of clinches or naturally try and fight out of them. Yeah, he was a terrible ref, man. Terrible ref. I keep on nearly doing that. Jesus. Yoka has that weak body in the middle. Just needs someone decent to stop him. He won't be anything. He kind of reminds me of he looks like he's still kind of fighting with that amateur style, Tony Yoka, to me. Again, does the basics well. Good jab, good high guard, nice straight right hand. He can work the body a little bit as well. He does the basics well, but yeah, there's nothing really there that makes you go, wow, with Tony Yoka. Big up to Jerome Benjamin. Good evening, Del Boy, and the members of the chat. Big up to you, sir. Yeah, Yoka was sparked out in the amateurs with headgear on, so definitely a questionable chin. Yeah. And he looks like the type as well. Do you know when you look at certain fighters, you don't know any better, but you look at a certain fighter and you think to yourself, he's got a dodgy chin just by looking at him. I know that sounds really weird, but I do that all the time. And a lot of the time I'm right. And I feel like that with Tony Yoka, to be honest. Just looks like he's chinny. He's got that look about him. Big up to Ed Kaler. Hated Loma, he acted like Mariah Carey. Hate Teofimo more, especially his father. Hope he gets smashed his next big fight. Tell us how you really feel, man. Junior Pigeon Far. Joe Rogan is strange and bizarre. All he does is talk complete underpants. Imagine having a beer with him. He wouldn't shut up. Yeah, he's a weirdo, man, Joe Rogan. When he compliments fighters, like he'll compliment their bodies and shit like that. It's so fucking strange, man. Such a weirdo, bro. Such a weirdo. Yeah, watch out for the steroids in the wild pigs over there, Del. Indeed, yeah. Nandrolone. I'll get fucking nandroloned up. Del's going to go round moat on us. That's not remotely funny. Dillian's gone to Portugal for steroids, realistically. You might be right, bro. Beasley London, you guys like fine cuisine all the time. I like a kebab or a fat bird sometimes. I enjoy Areola, Pricey, Nick Webb. Society's rejects are cool. Yeah, listen, once in a while, it's always good to see like a low-level fight between two fat guys. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I've seen many a good fights between fat guys outside a kebab shop. Junior Pigeon, never go USA sensitive simps who suit everyone. Not free at all. Most non-free country on the planet. I'd rather visit Iran. Deadly serious. Christ. How many rounds do you give Sakalowski versus Serenko tonight? Is it a 10-rounder? If it's like a 10-rounder, I would say... If it's an 8-rounder, I think he'll go the distance. If it's a 10-rounder, maybe he gets stopped in like rounds 8 or 9. It depends on how long the fight is, Cop End, for me. Shit. It depends on how long the fight is itself. Laughing at the Chinny Yoka comment. Looks like he's got a small head on wide shoulders or something. Yeah, I know what you mean, George. He's got a small head, yeah. It's like David Price. His head's quite small as well. But yeah, I think Tony Yoka's got a dodgy chin. Price versus Wilder. Okay, if AJ versus Fury happens, will it be this year or next, in your opinion? I've got a feeling it's going to be this year for some reason. Just my gut feeling. I think we're going to get that fight. But there's no real science behind that. It's just a gut feeling I have. I've got a feeling it will happen this year. What's your thoughts on the 50th anniversary of the fight of the century? Can it be used against Ali in the GOAT conversation since he lost? I mean, listen, boxing fans are super like autistic when it comes to greatest of all time conversations. They'll use anything to put down a certain fighter, to put up another fighter kind of thing. So yeah, people are going to use it against Ali. But listen, at the end of the day, it was a great fight. He lost. And it is what it is, really. I mean, you know, you can be involved in losing fights, but if that fight goes down in history, you do deserve some sort of credit, in my opinion. You know, if you fought a great fight but lost, you still have your own place there. You contributed to that great fight. So, no, I don't think so, man. I don't think it will really affect Ali's legacy or how people view him. It's one of the most important fights in his career, regardless if he lost. Raumo, that was so messed up. And then Paul Gascoigne taking his KFC chicken and a fishing rod. So bizarre. Sort of thing Joe Rogan would discuss for 45 minutes. Oh, dear. James Ali Bashir trained Serenko. He is a great trainer, but I think Serenko lacks some physical gifts to become an elite fighter. But he's got some good technique and tactics, yeah. And he's not the biggest heavyweight either, intangible. Yeah, you're right. I agree with that. He's got some ability, he's got some skill, but yeah, I think he might be, just a little too small, maybe a bit chinny as well. Pricey's small head is made up for with his big suit. Jesus. Yeah, Moti, it's Gaza. I think the loser of Fury Asia should get stoned to death in Saudi, make it more entertaining. Oh, dear. Yeah, he's a good trainer, Pigeon. He's a good trainer. That's what I've been saying, BG London. Listen, apparently Andy Ruiz is taking it seriously, losing weight. That's all well and good, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see Andy Ruiz on the scales before a fight. That's when I'll believe Andy Ruiz has lost weight. You can't fool me with all of these pictures, man, at weird angles. Just take a regular selfie in a mirror. Let's see then. Like you say, Andy Ruiz is pulling the fat girl trick. Angles, filters, and God knows what else. But until we see proof, Ruiz is still Fat Andy to me. Yeah, Serenko has good reflexes, but doesn't have the most natural speed. Not sure how much sense that makes. Yeah, no, that's true. And it does make sense. Like, there are certain fighters where, I know what you're trying to say, like, when it comes to reflexes, there are certain fighters who can pick up one shot real quick, but they can't necessarily put multiple shots together with good hand speed or anything like that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Fuck's sake. I don't think so, Ian Wood. I've not seen any Adam Booth interview since Josh Kelly got beat up. Probably licking his wounds. Still licking his wounds. Who have you got in the Adesanya versus Blachowicz fight? Damn, it's a hard one. I think Adesanya is more naturally talented, but Jan is a bigger dude, obviously, and he's got one hitter quitter power. And obviously, Izzy's moving up in weight, so I don't know, man. I'm going to go Blachowicz by knockout. I'm going to go. I think he's the underdog, believe it or not. I think he's the underdog, so I'm going to go Blachowicz by knockout just because. How would you map David Adelaide's career over the next 18 months or so? I mean, for the next 2 or 3 fights, there's no reason to really rush him and fight the sort of similar level of guys he's been fighting. Remain active, and maybe once he gets to 8, 9, and 0, then he can start going through the levels, fighting some good journeymen, the likes of Kamil Sakalowski, and then maybe a Nick Webb, maybe kind of thing. Maybe 3 or 4 fights, a Sakalowski. After that, maybe a Nick Webb kind of thing. I think so, BG London. I think so. I've still not hit her a DM yet though, and I've not slid in her DMs yet. Maybe I should. Maybe I should shoot my shot, as the kids say. I don't know. The zone stream I can't find anywhere. I was really looking forward to seeing Cheeseman versus Metcalf. Do you mean? Yeah. So yeah. So that was basically what happened there. That was listed on BoxRec, but that's actually on the undercard of Dillian White and Povetkin. Alex Alberto. He's got Blachowicz by submission. Interesting. So I think he's going to land that one perfect shot. Izzy's. I don't know. I think Izzy's got to be perfect for like 25 minutes. I'm not sure he can knock out Blachowicz, to be honest. Coming up in weight like that, I'm not sure he can knock him out. And he's got to be perfect for 25 minutes, avoiding those power punches. I think he's going to get caught. He might be winning the fight, but I've got a feeling he's going to get caught. I had big hopes for Nick Webb. How wrong was I? Yeah, listen. Nick Webb's a nice guy, man. He's a fun fighter, but just too brittle. Too brittle. Big up to Black Hatred in the chat. Big up. Nick Webb. Nick Webb versus Dave Allen was hilarious. Yeah, so like three. Basically, it was Nick Webb teeing off on Dave Allen for the most part. He was outworking Dave Allen, landing some good shots. Then he basically gassed out and got knocked out. Like Dave Allen literally did the Homer Simpson in that fight. Took a boatload of fucking punishment. Waited for his opponent to get tired, then he knocked him out. See Cat Ali telling Fabio Wardley that once I beat Price, we can have a fight. What is Ali smoking to think he'll beat Price? Somebody said earlier that they're going to rematch. Big Boys Boxing. Somebody in the chat said they're going to rematch. I think Jan's going to win by knockout in the later rounds. Yeah, I think so as well. I think he'll just catch Izzy. Is Cash Ali a step down from Richard Latte? I would say they're of a similar level intangible. In hindsight, I think Richard Latte got a bit too much hype after that Dubois performance. They're probably in and around a similar level, in all honesty. I'd like to see a map of UK boxing champions from the last 30 years. So would I, actually. So would I. Do you know what, guys? Genuinely, I cannot wait for the summer. I'm just getting sick of this fucking winter, bro. Honestly. Looking outside, man. Pitch fucking black. It's gloomy as fuck. I cannot wait for the summer. And hopefully the country goes back to some sort of normalcy. Yeah, so do I, intangible. But having said that, right? Having said that, again, this goes back to the matchroom matchmaking with prospects and young fighters. Like Fabio Wardley had no amateur fights. He had 3 white-collar fights in the UK. That's basically like white collar in the UK usually they're basically like charity fights kind of thing. And he's had 3 white collar fights and like 10 pro fights. So to me, like Cash Ali at this stage is perfectly acceptable for like his development. I've got a feeling they're going to rush him though, Fabio Wardley. The thing is though, with Fabio Wardley, he does get access to good sparring with Dillian White, Babic, etc. So he's got good sparring, which also helps guys develop. But there's no rush for me. My favourite female boxer, Senicia Estrada, is finally fighting for the WBC title in 2 weeks. Love her. 19 and no 10 KOs. Eddie Hearn said the same opponents that you recommended for Josh Kelly. Yep. I think that's what makes sense. 154, Cheeseman, Fitzgerald, Fowler, these sort of guys, man. They could make for some good domestic fights. Test Fabio Wardley against a Mexican so that he can avenge his countrymen. Fabio Wardley versus Mario Heredia. Yeah, Heredia would be a decent fight for Wardley. He's a good journeyman. Heredia. He's a relatively tough guy. Beat the great Samuel Peter as well, intangible. So you can't hate on that. You can't hate on that. Yeah, Wardley's going to build his record with a few pointless fights, I think. Yeah, that's the thing with Fabio Wardley, though. He's so inexperienced. So the next few fights to me have got to be the right learning fights. They can't be pointless fights, but they can't be too risky, too much of a risky fight either. They've got to be just good learning fights. Del, can anybody within reason become a pro boxer? Do you have to have had any amateur fights? So in the UK, obviously, if you've had no amateur fights, when I last looked at this anyway, if you've had no amateur fights or have very few amateur fights, basically you've got to go to the board with your trainer and do like a demonstration of your skills. Basically, you know, you'll do like a workout with your trainer, and then the board will assess you whether to give you a license. But yeah, it's not as hard as people imagine to get a pro license as a fighter in the UK. But yeah, you can get a pro license without any amateur fights. Yeah, that's a good shout. AA Boxing and Blunts, Wardley versus Dickinson for the English title would make sense. Yep. Yeah, I think he looks pretty good considering where he came from, and there's no amateur fights there. He looks pretty decent, Fabio Wardley. He's quite athletic, relatively quick, carries decent enough power, decent timing. He's quite solid, actually, for a guy with no amateur fights. He's pretty solid, man. By the way, lads, if you could smash the like, be much appreciated. Adam UK, who would you have between Pac-Man and Garcia? Do you mean Mikey Garcia? I'd say Pacquiao on points. And if it's Ryan Garcia, Pacquiao by knockout. Latte took the funniest dive versus Wardley. Do you know, when I first saw that fight, yeah, I thought that knockout was legitimate because I only saw one angle of that knockout. I'd done my post-fight review. Then people in the comments said, that fight was a dive, Del. That was a dive. I watched it back and yeah, I saw that. That looked very fishy to me. It did look fishy, I can't lie. Because I saw one angle. I think it was behind, so like it was to Latte's back, and it looked legit from that angle. But the other angles I saw, yeah, I can see why people thought it was a dive, and it looked like that. To be honest, I'll be honest. Pigeon, Junior Pigeon Far. Medical was key in my day to going pro. They check everything. Well, you need a full medical and post to make, yeah, take them or take, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you need, yeah. I know what you're trying to say, yeah. But yeah, you can get a pro license without an amateur background. You can. Junior, I'm old and useless now. Man, I wish I stuck with boxing, Pigeon. I really do. I'm 26 now. I started boxing about 16. I fucked about with it for a long time. I was supposed to have my first amateur fight at 19. Basically, the guy pulled out. I stopped training, and yeah, ever since I've been back and forth with boxing kind of thing. But that's my little background in boxing. I was supposed to have an amateur fight. It never happened. And yeah, that's really it, to be honest. If I were to describe my style, though, I was like a long-range fighter, kind of like a Klitschko. Like, I'm a lanky guy for my weight class. So I used to kind of pour probe with a jab and try and land that right hand, keep it on the outside, keep it on the outside. I wasn't great on the inside though. I've got a real hard time shorting up my punches. I've got really long fucking arms, and I find it really hard to deliver those short punches up close, mid range and on the inside. So I was primarily an outside fighter, and yeah, once you got to the inside, I'm fucked basically. I'd have to do the Klitschko tactic of fucking holding and hugging. I'd be like the white Lawrence Okole kind of thing. But yeah. But it's weird though, because I could fucking crack with my right hand. My straight right hand had genuine power. Like I hit hard with my straight right hand, but I couldn't generate power in my hooks or my uppercuts or anything like that. My power solely came from my straight right hand. And I had a good jab as well. My jab was pretty hard as well. My straight punches were hard, but like my hooks, my uppercuts, they had nothing. I couldn't generate that power. Nick Campbell's a Scottish heavyweight, just turned over, ex-rugby player. Interesting. Yeah, YouTube they've got really bad, BG London. They've got really bad, bro. I wish I had fought at higher level than white collar. Man, at least you've been out there and fought, bro. See, that's something I've thought about is doing a couple of white collar boxing fights. I think what would be a great idea would be to like do a white collar event and basically film the training and whatnot, upload it on YouTube, then upload the fight. I think that'd be a great idea. Honestly, that'd be a great idea. That is true, Tom Kerr. Yeah, there's no real excuse to be honest. But at the minute, nowhere's open anyway. But you are right. You are right. It's never too late, as they say. Especially, listen, if there's anybody here who's like late teens who hasn't boxed but want to box, it's definitely worth doing, man. Because a lot of guys in the pros started very late and made good careers for themselves. So it's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Yeah, that's what I noticed. AA, because I was looking at there's a program near me. This was before the pandemic, and I was looking into it. Basically, it was like an 8-week training camp, and yeah, that's what I gathered from what I was reading. Most of it was like cardio and shit, and yeah, pads and whatnot. Yeah, I did 4 white collar events when working, great fun. But even that now would be a pain weeks after. It's no joke getting punched back if dude is half decent. Yeah, exactly, bro. And I've not been punched for a long time either. Like it's a strange thing. If you've not boxed for a while, then you go back into the gym and you get hit for the first time. It's a weird feeling, man. It's like getting hit for the first time over again. It's weird. Yeah, it's true. Boxing's 90% mental. Indeed, yeah. I saw a lot of talented guys in my gym, yeah. So like guys who are great on the pads and you know, they looked amazing on like the pads, hand speed, punch technique, everything. But when they sparred, I see these guys spar and there's like they just fell to bits a lot of the time and they never put it together, kind of thing. I do regret though not going amateur. I really fucking do. Because I sparred a lot of amateurs in my gym, and I always did really well for the most part. Especially if I was boxers, like boxers, especially, I did well. I always held my own, and I do fucking regret that. What age is too old, providing you're fit and healthy? I mean, I guess there's no carte blanche answer to that question. I mean, Rocky Marciano, I think he started boxing at like 24. Same as Nate Campbell. Nate Campbell was a lightweight champion. He started boxing at 24. He became a lightweight champion. So, listen, it's possible to do it later on in life. It's definitely possible. My nephew is very talented. My son fought for England as a kid, but soon as he got a girlfriend, it was ditched. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Life gets in the way, man. Especially, like for me, that was a big part of it as well, you know. So I started at 16. I was really half in, half out. You know, as you get to that age, you discover things like fucking girls. You know, you go to parties and whatnot, and you know, other things come up when you get to that age. And yeah, I never really took boxing seriously until I turned 19. I took it seriously at 19. Like I said, amateur fight got booked. It fell through. After that, I kind of got disheartened. Other things came up. I changed jobs, and you know, life gets in the way, kind of thing. But it's one of those things. Exactly, Pigeon. Indeed. When gyms open back up, anyone here, please go boxing classes, even local gym. Yeah, it gets you out of the house, and you may learn something. Boxing can be fun too. Yeah, indeed. That's another thing though. I used to love sparring. Loved sparring. I loved working the bag. Loved pads. But anything that didn't involve punching, I used to fucking hate. I hate skipping. I hate running. I hate sit ups. I hate all that shit, man. I hate everything that doesn't involve punching. That's another thing I really struggled with. Like, you know, the cardio side of things, I really struggled with that. Really struggled. Have you sparred anyone famous, Del Boy? The most famous person I sparred was a guy called Adam Dingsdale. So Um, he fought Derry Matthews maybe 7 years ago, I guess, 7, 8 years ago. That's the most famous guy I've sparred. So he was like I guess he was like an English level fighter back in the day. It was okay. See, I love sparring. I love the bags. I don't mind the pads. I just fucking hate running. Hate running. Hate skipping. Hate weights. I've never been a weight guy. I've always been like a slim guy. I've never enjoyed weights at all, man. I don't see the point, man. I just don't have the ambition to do it. Doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, that's sit ups, press ups, and dancing around are key. Just in the ring, walking around on toes, 12 rounds. That's how Floyd did it. I'm getting back into Korean martial arts after lockdown. I like making stupid noises when I punch and kick. But yeah, man, anybody in here who's not tried boxing, like Pigeon said, I would highly recommend it because ultimately, listen, the boxing gym's a great place to go to. It's not like a regular gym. When I was a young kid, yeah, when I first went boxing, the impression I had in my mind was that a boxing gym was a real hard place full of like society's rejects basically and people are all arseholes. That's the impression I had when I first started boxing. Couldn't be further from the truth. When you get into a boxing gym, once you become a regular and you go there a lot, you meet new people. It's like a brotherhood almost. I kid you not. And the people who go there who have a chip on their shoulder, they do not last very long. They really don't. And people there, in my experiences, the gyms I've been to, everyone's keen on helping each other out, and you know it's a great place to go to. It's not like a regular gym. I would never go to a regular gym, quite frankly, but the boxing gym's a great place to go to. It really is. Pick up the Triple J. I'll get my stamina from pork in pitches. Big up the Triple J, man. Every single time. Big up to Triple J. Official says, lol, same for me. I hated the cardio, but effing loved sparring. But to be honest, the cardio shit really helped me become very thorough and have a great stamina. Yeah, are very tough and have great stamina. Yeah, it's a weird one though. For me, I've always been like a tall, slim guy. Cardio for me, I've always had a naturally high level of cardio, so I can run. I could go out now and run 4 or 5 miles, not with not too much bother. But it's motivating myself to do it. I just can't. I hate doing it, man. So the best gym I went to was Bedford, Queen's Park in Bedford. Great gym, man. But since I went there last, all the coaches have changed. So I'm not sure what it's like now. But yeah, Queen's Park in Bedford. There was a gym in Hitchin that used to be owned by Graham Earl. I went to that gym as well. That's a pretty decent gym. And also another gym in Bedford I went to. I don't think it's still there, but I think it's more like Muay Thai now. But when I went to I think it was on East Cots Road in Bedford, and that gym was owned by Matt Skelton back in the day. And yeah, Matt Skelton was there quite a lot actually. And Matt Skelton's a sound guy, by the way, a real nice guy, Matt Skelton, and his gym was pretty good as well. But yeah, I've been to a few gyms. Yeah, listen, Ian, you can be any age, and you can you go to the boxing gym. Yeah, indeed, they do. Yeah, I spent 20 plus years as a prison officer. I liked running to switch off. Yeah, my mate used to be a prison officer. He actually quit, but yeah, he said a lot about that job. I don't know. Well, fair play for doing it for 20 plus years, bro. Anyway, lads, I'm going to wrap this one up. I didn't realize I've been going for an hour and nearly 2 hours. Don't know where that time went, but I'm going to wrap this one up. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. If you could smash the like, it would be much appreciated, of course. And yeah, man, have a nice weekend. Have a good Saturday. Have a good Sunday. And peace, guys.